In this video, we're going to go over how to instantly relieve hip and leg pain. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. When it comes to hip and leg pain, a major cause is due to a blend of weakness and tightness in the muscles that support the area. These muscles include the glutes, piriformis, and the hip flexors. To make getting relief easy, I'm going to break the video up into two separate parts. In the first part, we're going to focus on getting quick pain relief by lengthening these tight muscles. In the second part, we're going to focus on strengthening them for long-lasting relief. Each part works just a little bit differently. Make sure to go through both and use what works best for you. With that being said, let's get started. In the first part, we're going to focus on lengthening tight muscles for quick pain relief. This one is really convenient because you can do it seated. The first part, we're going to focus more on the piriformis and the glute muscles. So let's start with the painful side first. Let's say that you have a lot of right-sided leg and hip pain. You want to place the painful side's ankle over your other side's knee. So when you look down, it should look like a figure 4. I know a lot of people are going to struggle to get into this position. To make it a little bit easier, just straighten this other leg out, put your ankle over your other side's shin, grab your pant leg or in front of the shin, and then slide it into position. So let's take our hands and cup right around that bent knee. What we're going to do is slowly pull this knee towards the other side's shoulder, so straight across the body. Build into this one slowly too, because as you do this, you're really going to feel a good stretch form in your thigh that works towards the hips. Once you feel a really good, comfortable stretch around the hip, what you're going to do is hold this for 20 seconds. And then from there, just relax and repeat this a couple more times. And with each repetition, just try to build into it a little bit more. This one actually feels really good right now. So next, what I want to do is engage these muscles a little bit more and also help to strengthen them. So what I'm going to do is take this bent knee and now press it down towards the floor, but I'm not going to use my hands. I know a lot of people like to do this, but that can put a lot on these muscles and tendons, and we don't want to do that. Instead, let's use our leg and hip strength to just press that down towards the floor. You should feel a really good activation of the muscles around the hip. You want to hold this for 5 seconds, release it, and then repeat this 5 times. From here, you can take this one to the next level by adding some more motions in through the lower back to target some more muscles. So let's press the knee down, and this time around, I'm just going to lean away from the painful side. So I'm just kind of tilting like this. What you're going to feel is a really deep stretch form right below the ribs, going into the lower back towards the hips. This targets a muscle called the quadratus lumborum, which is a huge instigator of both lower back and hip pain. Try to hold this one comfortably for about 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this a couple more times. You can also do rotational movements, so putting your hands out in front of you kind of like a genie position and just rotating away from the pain. And you can also rotate towards it. But go through all of these movements. You're probably going to find that one just helps you out the most, maybe leaning away like this. At that point, build into that movement for some more repetitions until everything is nice and loose. So let's finish by targeting a little bit more on the top of our legs right here towards the groin with the hip flexors. This one is pretty easy. If you have armrests, just grab onto them, or you can just grab off to the side of the chair. You want very good upright posture, have your legs roughly about hip width apart, and you're just going to simply start by pointing your toes up towards the ceiling and doing quick marches like this, trying to drive your knees towards your chest as much as you can. The key is try to raise your knees above hip level because that will engage these hip flexors. So I just like to hold this for about a second and then just repeat this about 10 to 15 times on both sides. And you're definitely going to get a very good workout with this one. Afterwards, we're going to switch it up. Now what we're going to do is put all of our leg weight on our toes, heels up, and do the same thing. You're just going to notice that it hits the muscles around the legs a little bit differently. But give that a try, and if it feels like you have a lot of energy, you're more than welcome to throw in another set or two. This next exercise is one of the best because it's going to target pretty much every single muscle associated with hip pain. It's called the 90-90. To get into position, we're going to start on a floor with one leg straight out in front of us, knee bent at 90 degrees. Doesn't matter which leg is out in front of us because we're going to do this on both. The key is during this exercise to have this front knee towards the floor as much as possible. So if you feel like it's sticking up like this, just actively press that knee down as much as you can until you feel a really good activation of the muscles around the hip. This back side, we're going to have our legs straight off towards our side, knee also bent at 90 degrees. Why this one works so well is because it's going to externally rotate this front hip and then internally rotate this back hip. So we're getting a lot of good motion in both directions. So from here, what I'm going to do is take the arm on the front side and just try to prop myself up as much as I can and have my back as straight as possible. The other arm is going to go straight off towards our side like this. We're going to take this back hip now and just gently press it towards the floor. So just imagine taking the hip and the pelvis on that side and just pressing it straight towards the floor. You're going to feel a lot of muscles around that hip start to fire. Hold that comfortably and now lean forward, dropping your chest towards the floor. Build into this one slowly because you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire throughout the legs, hips, through the pelvis. I feel it into my glutes, into my lower back. It just targets everything and it usually feels really good. Try to hold this one comfortably for about 20 seconds, relax, and then repeat this 3 to 5 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. So let's take this one to the next level and put in another movement that's going to target that quadratus lumborum muscle that we talked about earlier. So this time around, what I'm going to do is lean forward back into our original stretch, but I'm going to take the hand on the other side and now reach across my body like this as much as I can towards this front side. So I'm just reaching towards my right. As you do this, you're going to feel a deep stretch in the lower back towards the hip. So give that a try. To deepen this stretch, all you have to do is lower your chest down and rotate it towards the floor. So I'm dropping my chest and then rotating it towards the floor. And this is a really deep stretch, but again, it usually feels really good. So try to hold that for 20 seconds, relax, and then repeat this 3 to 5 times. Afterwards, switch legs and repeat to keep everything in balance. In the second part, we're going to switch gears and focus on strengthening. Simply put, if you want long-lasting pain relief, you have to strengthen the muscles that support the hips and the legs. This exercise is called hip clocks. It's really easy to do. All we need is something to grab onto, a chair, a desk, a couch. It all works. Just start standing with one hip pretty close to the chair, whatever you're going to use. Doesn't matter which side because we're going to do this on both. What I'm going to do from here is place all of my body weight onto my heels during this exercise. It offers a little bit more support, and if needed, just grab onto the top of that object to steady yourself. So the leg that is furthest away from the chair, what I'm going to do is straighten it out in front of me and treat this like noon. And I'm going to point my toes down towards the floor until I feel a really good activation of the muscles, pretty much from my calves, working up towards my thigh into the hip. Once we feel that, what we're going to do is raise our leg upward towards the ceiling as much as we can comfortably. You're going to feel pretty much everything across the legs start to fire, but really focus on feeling it right here on the top part of your thigh towards the groin. That would be the hip flexors and also across the hips. Once you feel that, hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. On the next repetition, we're going to go more towards 12:15, 12:30, and then repeat. What you're going to notice is it hits the muscles a little bit differently. So try as many different positions on that clock as possible, going towards 3 o'clock, and you can even work towards 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock if you have the flexibility. But what you're going to find is that one certain position just hits it the best. Maybe you have a lot of achiness or tightness in that position. Treat that like your weak link and throw more repetitions in until everything is nice and loose, or you're not getting any more improvement. So if you would like to take this one to the next level, what you can do is add in some hip rotation to challenge the muscles a little bit more. So let's go back to the weak link spot. For me, it's like right here. What I'm going to do is raise my leg up, but as I raise it, turn my foot outward as much as I can, and you're really going to feel it around that hip. This puts it into external rotation. So go out as far as you can, hold it for a brief second, and as you come back down, turn your foot inward and slowly lower your leg towards the floor, resisting against the weight. It's a little bit challenging, so build into it as much as you can. But go through as many different positions as possible and challenge yourself. And just remember, when you're done on one side, always switch to the other side and repeat to keep everything in balance. So here's a really good strengthening exercise that you can do daily in bed or on a floor. Just lie flat on your back like this. The first movement is going to target the core muscles, which are really important for stabilizing the hips, leading to less pain overall. So let's have our legs roughly hip width apart and raise our knees up like this. Have them bent at 90 degrees. Take your hands, put them off to your side for support. The first movement is just straighten your knee, lowering your leg towards the floor. The key is don't let your heel or your leg touch the floor or the bed. Just let it hover an inch or two. In this position, you're going to feel those core muscles start to engage and also the hip flexors. Hold this for about 3 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. Do this one nice and slowly for about 5 to 10 repetitions on both sides. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So we can take this one to the next level by adding in some hip rotation. So this time around, I'm going to lower my leg down like this, but turn my foot inward at the same time, and you're really going to feel those muscles start to fire. This puts the hip into internal rotation. So give that a try on both sides. If you would like to focus on external rotation, this is what we can do. Let's take our feet, press them together just like this, and then with our knees, just wing them down towards the floor as much as we can until we feel a really good stretch form on the inner part of the thigh that works towards the groin into the hips. From here, you're going to squeeze your glutes, your buttocks, and then clench down, I should say, brace your core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that and hold it during this exercise. From here, you're just going to slowly lift your hips upward towards the ceiling. You should feel a ton of muscles start to fire. The hamstrings, the glutes, the back, the core, the hip flexors, everything that supports the legs and the hips. And this one is going to put the hips into external rotation again. Hold this comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds. Relax, and then repeat this 5 to 10 times. Again, if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.